I stand with Paris. It's so easy to say something like that and not really mean it or not know what it means. What exactly are we saying when we stand with Paris? Does it mean we feel sad for them? Does it mean that we understand because the United States has also suffered such an attack? Does it mean we sit back and say, right, Paris, those darn jihadists are the worst? I've said a lot of controversial things on this channel. I regret a lot of the things I've said in my life, but none of them are the things that I've said on this channel. There's a reason for that. I plan everything I say. So today, if this is the most controversial thing I've said, I regret nothing. Standing with Paris means nothing if all you do is tweet about it or change your stupid Facebook profile page. It's a useless and worthless gesture. I've done a lot of research into the Middle East in my lifetime, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that never, in my entire life, have I known a period of time where there was no trouble in that region. It has been going on since I was born, and instead of getting better, it has actually gotten worse. There is a solution, however. I know how to end the conflict in the Middle East, for us at least. And when I say us, I mean the West. I mean Europe and the Americas. I'm titling this video The Final Solution because, in essence, the real solution is nothing short of condemning the Israeli nation state to death. But first, let me tell you that there are actually two solutions. One is not final, however. One of the solutions would solve the problem only momentarily, but eventually I feel it would start all over. The first solution is overwhelming military force directed at terrorist organizations in the Middle East, Syria, the Islamic State, and any other extremist or terrorist group. This effort would be wholesale, consisting of the full military weight of the United Nations, including the United States, Great Britain, France, Germany, Canada, Mexico, Brazil, everyone. Everyone would send everything they had because everyone is affected. And there would be devastation. But it would be swift and merciless. An absolute, incredible show of force, which would completely wipe out the enemy. I would say it would be no less than a 5-year commitment, and it would be expensive and difficult to organize, but it would have long lasting effects. But as I said, it would not last. You can't fight force with force and expect it to last. Someone's dad will have been killed, and that child will grow up resenting the West, and then they will grow up to be the next terrorist leader. It would happen eventually. It's inevitable. That's why this idea, though it would be effective, is probably not a permanent solution. And so we come to the final solution. The one thing that I have thought about for years now. Pull out of the Middle East completely. Stop all aid to Israel. The end. What needs to happen is that we say, well, Israel, we tried. You keep making things worse for everyone, and I think it's time you deal with your own problems. You made your bed, now sleep in it. And boom, we walk away. Israel is the one and only reason why the Middle East hates the West. And it doesn't help that Israel is just as much a terror state as the Islamic State or Syria or any of the other extremist regimes that we've stood against in the last 40 years. They've cost this country trillions of dollars since it came into being and has cost this country hundreds of thousands of lives. It's time we walk away. From my research, I've concluded that the reason the Middle East terrorist groups have targeted the United States is directly correlated to United States aid to Israel in the form of money or arms. It's time we walk away. Of course, walking away is essentially damning Israel. Without big bad US to back their atrocities, they'll either have to stop or they'll just get their sorry butts kicked. Either way, it's not our problem. Not anymore. Sure, The West invented Israel in its modern incarnation, and sure, it's our fault. But the experiment has formed a mind of its own and is now doing whatever the hell it wants, and it is costing us lives. When are we going to stop worrying about their people and start worrying about our own? I don't care if Israelis die. I'm more worried about innocent people in France or England or the United States. People that have died because their governments have backed Israel at one point or another. Yeah, a lot of people will see this as defeat or retreat or giving up. So what? Who cares? There's more to life than machismo and exhibiting a tough exterior. Leaving the Israelis to fend for themselves is not surrender or defeat, it's admitting that there are more important things in the world. And sure, this plan leaves a lot of unanswered questions. There are a lot of details that have to be hammered out for this to work. And yes, I have also thought about those things. In fact, I've worked an entire multifaceted plan to make sure this works. And it probably won't work even if someone tried it, but it could. And at the very least, it's the best solution. No other solution even has a chance of being permanent. Walking away from the Middle East is the only idea that could possibly resolve our issues with that region. It's time we start worrying about the people that have died on our home soil instead of worrying about a terrorist state. It's time we walk away from the Middle East. It's time we let Israel fend for itself. If we really want to stand with Paris and every other nation that has been affected, it's time for the final solution.